Over 15 years have passed since Wii Sports came out, and even long after the Wii craze died down, there are still many people keeping this game alive. Case in point, Speedrunners.
I feel like speedrunners keep most old games alive, like the whole Mario N64 era. Basically, the people keep playing those games because they're speedrunning. I feel like it's the same with Minecraft. Minecraft has more appeal, but a huge amount of the people that play Minecraft are also speedrunning it. Any old game that's lost relevancy can be held up as a classic by the speedrunning community just because they want to get better at it.
A huge surprise, I know. But for a while now, there's been one particular milestone that's been on everyone's mind. All sports in under 7 minutes. Wii Sports.
How is that even possible? All sports in under 7? Like, I was a pro in every single one of the original Wii sports. So, I mean, I'm pretty good. I can't fathom completing everything in under 7 minutes, though.
Has its fair share of speedrun categories, but the one that appears first on the speedrun.com leaderboard is its most popular, all sports. In this speedrun, the player must win a game of tennis, win a game of baseball, complete a round of bowling, complete one of the 3-hole courses of golf, and win a fight in boxing. All sports started off as a fairly whole course.
How many of these are there? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With 7 minutes, you're averaging like 1:15 per one. That's crazy fast to complete all of them in 1:15.
Of golf and win a fight in boxing. All sports started off as a fairly simple laid-back speedrun with not much serious competition. But over the years, that would begin to change. New runners, new discoveries, and new strats would transform all sports into a pretty optimized and very punishing speedrun. These efforts culminated in a world record of 7 minutes and 700 milliseconds, set by Shockwave TLS on January 20th, 2022, a run less than a second away from that glorious sub-7 minute barrier. During this,
I remember doing the boxing. Man, that was tiring. I'd come out of boxing, you'd be like armpit sweat, head sweat. I mean, it was surprisingly a pretty good workout. For something that wasn't real, just the standing up and moving a bunch, get your heart rate up. I was always surprised by how tired I was coming out. Maybe my cardio is just terrible though, who knows?
This time, Shockwave and former world record holder, Emoad Nomad, had been on a serious grind for the sub-7. Hot off the heels of Summoning Salt's All Sports World Record History video, Wave and Nomad were more motivated than ever, and based on their rapid improvement in the latter half of 2021, it seemed that sub-7 was gonna happen any day now, any week now.
All of these are 2 years ago? Dang, it's like they hit the ceiling and then nobody's been able to break that. That's probably how it is with the Nintendo 64. What is this, speedrun.com? These actually aren't as old as I thought they would be. A year, 7 months, 2 months, dang. But like, yeah, the world record is only a year old, and this game came out 29 years ago. It was 1996. Yeah, 1996. That's crazy. People are still setting records 28 years later.
Month now. Any year now. Nearly 2 years passed, and the record was still 7 minutes flat. By this point, Shockwave and Nomad had long thrown in the towel. But why? With sub-7 within both of these runners' grasp, you would think that they'd keep pushing.
It's got to be because of the randomization, right? Because the Miis, when you face them in another sport, there's like a % chance they might hit the baseball or hit the tennis ball, and there's a % chance that they might not. So a huge amount of it is just resetting the speed run over and over to try and get that RNG. It's not like Mario 64 where there's very little RNG, so you can actually learn techniques that help you skip faster. It's just entirely based on whether or not the code inside the Mii characters decides to hit or not hit certain throws.
If you look at the grind from a surface level, because if you know anything about all sports speedruns, especially at the top level, it can be an absolutely soul-crushing category to grind. At this point, you may be wondering, what made the 7-minute run so difficult to beat? Let's take a look. After picking a Mii with intentionally low skill levels in tennis, baseball, and bowling, Shockwave begins the run by winning a game of tennis, and it's an absolute cakewalk. Just serve the ball at its peak, and the terrible CPU players will rarely return it. You can lose some time if they do, but it's basically negligible, because the next sport, baseball, is where most runs that get out of tennis go to die.
The speed at which he loaded up the next one is crazy.
Baseball is by far the longest sport in the run, as well as the most random. The main strategy in the speedrun is to win via Mercy Rule, in which you end the first inning 5 runs ahead of the computer team, 5-0. The top of the inning has you at the bat, in which you'll want to bunt towards third base and get singles to load the bases, hit another bunt to score a run, and then hit a grand slam home run for the 5-0. After intentionally bunting for outs, it's time for the volatile bottom half of the inning, pitching.
This has to be the part that like throws people off the most, right? Because there's a, 50-50, 70-30, whatever it is, 80-20 chance that the me is actually going to hit the ball or not hit the ball. And depending on where it goes, that can change the time depending on if it's a home run or any animations that might happen with the different kinds of hits. Like I can see why it would be so frustrating because you could get to this point having played perfectly and then it's just RNG from the ones and zeros of the computer code as to whether or not you actually progress.
When playing defense in Wii Sports Baseball, you don't get to control anyone but the pitcher. You can mix up your type of pitching between a fastball, curveball, screwball, or splitter, but in the end, you're at the mercy of the computer at bat. Ideally, you want the computer player to hit outs within the infield, so not only do they not get anyone on base or score any runs, but that you can get 3 outs with as few pitches as possible. The fastest possible pattern is 3 pitches total for 3 outs in the infield, but these are incredibly rare. Even in his 7-minute run, Shockwave got a 4-pitch with a foul ball, which is still very good RNG, allowing him to exit baseball at 306. Compared to baseball, bowling has much more consistent strats with very little randomness. Unlike the previous 2 sports, where you face off against a computer player, bowling and golf are solo sports. In bowling, you want to score strikes on every frame but the final one. Getting a strike ends the frame, skipping the second throw. Except for frame 10, where getting a strike guarantees 3 balls for that frame, so an optimal speedrun targets 9 strikes, and there are consistent methods for getting strikes.
So there's no minimum score you actually have to get. You just have to get through the game, and I guess the fastest way to do that is to get strikes, which I suppose makes sense except for the last year. But like, how do you discover that in the first place? You have to time like every animation that could appear and then figure out which route is the optimal one.
Shockwave developed his own method called Moonball, which is very consistent and can almost guarantee a strike every time. Step 1. Move your character 2 ticks to the right until the left edge of that dashed line is barely past the center dot. If you're a lefty, reverse the directions. Step 2. Stand with your legs shoulder width apart, back straight, knees slightly bent, and your arms holding the Wiimote below the chest in a firm inverted triangle. Step 3. Hold B, swing with your arms locked above your head, and when the bowling ball is at
One Piece!
its peak, release. When going for the world record, however, a faster, albeit less consistent method is recommended: volleyball. It's similar to moonball, except it's a smaller, faster movement, much like hitting a volleyball. You release the ball much lower to the ground. Needless to say, the nerves start to set in, finally escaping the jail that was baseball, which in turn makes you more prone to mistakes. After 2 strikes using volleyball, Wave missed a strike in the 3rd frame. After this, Wave immediately switches back to Moonball, sacrificing a bit of time saved from volleyball in exchange for consistency. The rest of bowling went smoothly until the 9th frame, when Wave got unlucky and the 8-pin stayed up. Wave didn't do anything wrong execution-wise here. The 8-pin just happens to be the most random. With a 7-strike bowling, Wave fell behind his personal best, but the run was not over. It could easily be salvaged as he moved on to golf, by far the most technical sport in the run. Logically, you'd think that he'd pick the beginner set of holes, 1 through 3. Instead, he picked intermediate, which covered 4 through 6. On hole 4, Wave also performed an advanced strat known as a left pin driver chip, where he hit the ball into the bunker and then hit the ball with the driver directly at the flag from outside.
Oh my gosh, is that a 2-shot? That's crazy. I guess you use the flag as a backboard to bounce the golf ball off of it. Again, who discovered this? Like, you have to replay this over and over and over until you figure out that this is the optimal route. I wish I was this passionate about anything in my life.
The green for a chip in. This works because the flag acts as a wall. Left pin refers to where the hole spawns on the green, which is randomly selected between 3 pins.
Oh. I played a lot of Wii Golf. I did not once notice that the hole spawns at different spots. Interesting.
Left pins are much more favorable than the 1 in 3 chance of a right pin, where the hole is on top of a hill and generally makes the hole slower and more difficult. Moving on to hole 5.
So even the golf has like an RNG aspect. The tennis does, the baseball does, because the Miis may or may not actually hit it, and that can change your time wildly. But golf also does, depending on where the flag spawns. I'm surprised they haven't discovered some glitch to make it spawn in the same spot every time, because I feel like speedruns are like 90% finding glitches for people to exploit.
We can see why intermediate was selected over beginner. Intermediate is faster
Well, that's
thanks
just in
to a
water.
revolutionary glitch discovery.
There, okay. No pre-rutch, I swear. But yeah, it's like you find glitches to fix the things that make your speed run longer. In this case, I guess they found a glitch that allows them to hit it from the water so they get to skip the whole land section.
Disconnected shots. On February 18th, 2021, speedrunner Plied would discover that by disconnecting the Wiimote batteries in the middle of a swing,
2021? This was like recently, especially relative to when the Wii came out. So it took people 13 years to discover this glitch. Is that not insane that 13 years after something's been released, they're still discovering bugs within the game? We don't know everything about the game, and so we're still finding ways to be able to speedrun it faster. That's kind of absurd. And also the dedication. You have to imagine he accidentally did it. Like he hit it and dropped the Wiimote and a battery popped out, and then he was like, oh, maybe I can repeat that. And then was able to discover this glitch. That's insane.
you can hit the ball again upon reconnecting. While you can't go further than a normal shot, disconnected shots allow you to hit the ball from out of bounds areas, including the water. Not only that, but you can stop the ball on a dime during the screen transition to the next shot, without having to wait for the ball to stop.
I wonder if this should count as like part of the speed run. I get that it technically works and you complete it, but it's not like intended. Like surely there's a glitchless version of this, right? Because this is not the intended way to do it.
While the strat is unintuitive, disconnect shots are worth mastering for some massive time save on holes 5 and 6, where you can cut across the water for a faster, more direct path to the hole. Golf went beautifully for Wave, leaving only one sport left: boxing. This is a fairly simple sport, where the most important strat is hitting your low-level opponent in a steady rhythm, timing critical hits for a quick knockout. But you have to make sure most of your punches land, and there is a small but unlikely chance that your opponent will get up. Luckily for Wave, that didn't happen. And that is the roller coaster that is all sports.
So that was the one that he did, because that was the perfect 7-minute run. Also, the timer stops right on KO. I've always wondered with speedrunning timers, do they have to be manually paused, or do you pause it? Does the software automatically decide when to pause? Does the speedrunning category have like you pause when this animation appears on screen? I don't know. I just never know
Wave,
how you pause.
That didn't happen. And that is the roller coaster that is all sports. Shockwave's 7-minute run is the culmination of fast wins in tennis and boxing, skillful golfing with beautiful disconnect shots, as well as great luck in baseball. But a bowling...
That's got to be the frustrating part about it, is like he did it because he had good luck in baseball. Like he had RNG luck that none of the shots in tennis were returned, RNG luck in that it only took him 4 pitches in the baseball to get through, some RNG luck in the bowling because the 8th pin didn't stay up multiple times, some RNG luck in that he had a glitch that he could... Like, that's why it's so frustrating to learn how to speedrun these things, when there is RNG involved where it just might not work for no reason other than you.
with 2 missed strikes cost Wave the sub 7, and really makes you wonder what the run could have been. This 7-minute speedrun was a brick wall that just refused to budge, despite Shockwave and Emoad Nomad's best efforts. They would have quite a few runs that were quite promising, only for it to fall apart, whether it be succumbing to nerve.
Nah, that's crazy. Oh, that sucks so much. How does it even happen?
Or just straight up bad luck. In 2023, both of them would throw in the towel, finding the grind unfulfilling. There are just so many factors that can kill a potential sub 7 run, but by far the worst offender was baseball. There's a reason so many runners named their baseball splits jail. Hitting a homer isn't the most reliable. The fielders have around a 10% chance to drop the ball, which can lead you to getting unnecessary singles when bunting for outs. And of course, pitching. It's just a slot machine. You're at the mercy of factors entirely out of your control, with no real way to influence or manipulate your opponents to hit outs. Most runs die either here or when trying to get a home run.
I feel like in this situation, the best thing you can do is try and find a glitch that allows you to be able to be more consistent with strikeouts. Like in the same way you did with golf. For the RNG stuff, you've got to find a bug that you can exploit to let you be able to do the thing faster or easier. Because like just leaving it up to chance every time is such a slog.
In August 2023, Shockwave had a run that was prime sub-7 material. A 19-second tennis exit. 8-strike all volleyball
19 seconds is insane for how fast he's being. That's crazy.
bowling, amazing golfing, and an incredibly fast knockout in boxing. 702. What killed sub-7? 6 pitches, including a foul ball, which wastes more time than strikes. Had he had gotten one less pitch, sub-7 would have been his. You can probably see why Wave and Nomad lost motivation. If neither number 1 or number 2 could get the sub-7, it was up to a new generation to step up to the plate. Let's introduce the contenders. After a year of stagnation on the top of the leaderboard, the first new sub-7 contender to emerge was Ruiner Ryan. On March 28, 2023, Ryan broke into the top 3 after achieving a 716. A very clean run that was 1 second ahead of Shockwave after batting, but suffered from an 8 pitch, 2 of which were foul balls. Aside from a missed strike, everything else was great. Ryan's first serious sub-7 pace run came on May 5th, where he got a 4-pitch baseball. Unfortunately, time began to bleed away with an exceptionally poor bowling for his standards.
Oh, that sucks.
4 strikes. To make things worse,
4 strikes out of 9? But you have to imagine with 4 strikes out of 9, how much time could have been, like, was this the run that could have been? Who's to say? There's so much RNG involved that it might have been, it might not have been.
the game didn't register his nunchuck when beginning boxing, losing a few more seconds as he unplugged and reconnected it, culminating in a 712. A bittersweet PB.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, it was his personal best at 712, which is always good to hear. Top, 5 or whatever it said it was, top 5, top 3. But like, what if he had gotten more strikes, and what if he hadn't had his nunchuck disconnected? Maybe he would have hit sub 7. It's like, what do you even do in that case? There's just so much RNG. Like, stuff happens, and then he won't be able to repeat this run exactly because the baseball is going to be different next time.
Unexpectedly, on July 24th, another runner, Mr. Shy Guy, dethroned Ryan's third place spot with a 706. A massive 22-second PB thanks to a 4-pitch baseball and no longer running on the slow 1.1 release, which loses nearly 10 seconds to additional cutscenes and animations in baseball not present in version 1.0. However, Mr. Shy Guy was playing on the Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort 2-in-1 combo disc, known as version 1.2 in the community.
Should that be allowed though? Like if you're playing on a newer, more optimized version and so you get the speed of faster, I don't know, that seems different to me. Like if you play Mario 64 and then you're like, yeah, but this is Mario 64, I own an optimized version of it where the cutscenes or whatever happen faster or the levels load faster so I get a speedrun record. That seems disingenuous because this is like, it's a different game from the ones the original people had set records on. This one is faster with faster animations and faster load time. So of course it's going to be a faster speed run. You're not doing it on the same level. It's like how sprinters are not actually necessarily becoming better sprinters. A lot of it is that shoe and track technology is becoming so much better that world records are being broken. But if you were to take the same guy and put them in shoes from like the 1920s, they wouldn't actually be that much faster than the people then. So this seems, I don't know if this should count. I feel like there should be a different record for 1.0, 1.1, and 1.2.
This version still has the baseball cutscenes, but it ends up being even with 1.0 due to significantly faster load times. So Mr. Shy Guy was a very strong contender for sub 7 on 1.2.
Like, does it count as sub 7 if you only get sub 7 because the cutscenes are load faster? Like, I feel like that shouldn't count because then the other people who would originally set the record on the 1.0 version might have actually gotten it. Like, it's a different experience.
And he had some time save potential still. Finally, there was by far the newest runner of the bunch, Rymac G4. His name is also Ryan. He had only started playing earlier in 2023, but was improving very quickly at the game. By August, he was trading world records with Shockwave in the all training games category, and by the end of the year, was giving the other top all sports players a run for their money. December 22nd was a particularly eventful day, as Rymack got 716, which had a respectable 5-pitch and 8 strikes, but lost a lot of time in hole 5 during the second disconnect shot, ending up in the bunker away from the green. After this PB, Rymack just kept playing. An hour later, he finds himself on pace for an even better run. This run also had a 5-pitch baseball, but both that and the tennis had faster exits. He then proceeds to get a 9-strike bowling. Things are looking up. Not even a right pin on hole 4 in golf is enough to stop him, as he still manages to save time. Hole 5 went much faster, as he didn't get stuck in the bunker this time. And then came hole 6.
Nah, that's crazy. What is this previous best possible time down there is exactly 7 minutes, which, you know, could probably round it. Maybe he was 6:59 point something. Oh, that sucks. He was on potentially world record pace, just barely whiffed it. Oh, poor guy.
Combined with a slightly worse boxing, Rymack had barely squeezed out a 4-second PB, but choked sub 7. The competition.
And there's like, that feels good to have a PB, but also knowing that if you had just hit that one shot, maybe you would have had the world record is worse. It's like how in the Olympics, you have the gold medalists who are the happiest, but then the silver medalists of all the medalists are statistically the most upset, and then the bronze medalists. So like the happiness goes, the gold are the happiest, and the bronze are the second happiest, and the silver are the least happy of any medaled ones. Is because while getting silver, even though silver's amazing, you could have had gold if you had just won. I feel it's like it has to be the same thing here. Personal best to be damned, I don't care. I almost had the world run if I hadn't whiffed it at the end.
And further escalated, as the very next day, the other Ryan, Ruiner Ryan, would find himself on a sub 7 pacer of his own. 5-pitch baseball and only 1 missed strike due to 8-pin RNG. It was possible, but it was going to be tight. He moved on to golf. A textbook bunker chip on hole 4. Now, onto hole 5.
Fuck, man.
Oh, he whiffed it. I see what happened.
Go
when
in.
he hit the cliff. Oh no.
God damn it.
That sucks.
Really bad shot. No! Oh my! Are you serious? I lost so much time on that. That will cost me my PB, I think. A better time. Oh my!
Dang. Again, PB, but bittersweet because he whiffed it in 2 other places. So, like, could it have been better? Could it have been a world record? Who's to say?
That could have been it. That could have been it.
A new PB that bopped Rymack, but a missed driver chip and sloppy boxing gate kept him from sub 7.
That is heartbreakingly close like that. Oh, that sucks.
These runners were getting close, but if the top 2 times said anything, that didn't mean jack squat. Anyone with a 7-1x time was capable of sub 7, but for nearly 2 years, runs would constantly die to bad luck or just nerves affecting performance after baseball. As 2023 grew to a close, it seemed another year would pass without sub 7. It was going to be until 2024 until we'd expect to see another opportunity arise. That is, unless you believe in miracles. On New Year's Eve 2023, Rymack was plugging away at all sports.
Can we respect the grind? New Year's and you're not out partying with your friends, ushering the new year, making resolutions. You are on that grind for the world record. Mad respect.
And got onto a run that, while behind his PB, had made it past batting. What happened next was nothing short of amazing.
All 3 pitches, 3 outs, baby. Let's go.
A 3 pitch. Even with a deep flyout, this is very rare. Following that, he got a 9-strike bowling, all volleyball. Rimac was officially on the run of his life.
Best possible now, 6:49. Dude, beating the world record by 11 seconds would be absolutely insane.
All he had to do was keep his composure in golf. On his best pace after golf, it all came down to this. Get a quick knockdown and get the best Wii Sports world record ever performed, or have the opponent get back up and fail. It all came down to this.
Down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Knockout.
Let's go. Dang, beating it by, well, I guess 6 seconds. That's crazy.
Rimac did it. The journey to sub 7 was finally over. Not only that, but he absolutely destroyed the record too. 6:53. No one's gonna beat that for a long time. Huge congrats to Rimac for clutching the run of his life. You should go watch his record in full. I've linked it below, as it's absolutely criminal that it barely has 10,000 views. It deserves more. So, what's next for All Sports? Well, most of the sub-7 contenders I mentioned have mostly taken a step back from the exhausting All Sports grind in favor of other Wii series categories.
There's so much RNG that once someone gets basically what is a perfect one, like there's not much to improve on there. At that point, it's literally just you have to do everything perfectly and then hope you get enough luck from the computer. So it might not even be worth doing anymore. I do wonder if anyone's beaten his record though. All Sports, yeah, he's still got the #1 spot. Like this was a year ago and nobody's beaten it. Everything else, yeah. It's just like, is it even worth it to try? Because at this point he played perfectly and then got also perfect RNG. So like there's not a point in someone else doing it. Like why waste your time when you can have other speedruns that you could do?
Although there is one sub-7 contender that I haven't mentioned yet. Mr. Jimmy Steele 25. A Mario 64 runner with high-level 16 star times, former world records for Big House in the Sky carpetless, as well as All Sports in 2017. He's been on and off the grind for a couple months now, and has gotten pretty close. On February 26, 2024, he had an amazing 4-pitch baseball and was on a comfortable sub-7 pace. Unfortunately, a misplay on right pinhole 4 killed the run. Recently, he also lost a run due to getting an accidental perfect game in bowling. This is the only situation where you'll ever see someone get upset that they got a perfect game in Wii Bowling. Even with these chokes, if I were to bet on anyone getting the next sub-7, and maybe even record, it would be him. I've also linked his stream below. Even then, how much further can All Sports be pushed down? A theoretical best time that splices the best community segments of an All Sports run shows that a sub 630 is theoretically possible.
Sub 630? But that's just with perfect computer RNG, which just might not ever happen. Do the ones and zeros line up perfectly? Who's to say?
But it also features the expert holes in golf, with hole-in-ones on holes 7 and 8. Yeah, I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Either way, I hope you've enjoyed the story about how Sub 7 finally happened. Researching this has made me want to dabble in Wii Sports a little bit, and I plan on streaming more often, so make sure to follow my Twitch. Thanks for watching. Now here's a dog.
That was How Speedrunners Broke Wii Sports' Biggest Barrier by Lunatic J. Outstanding video. I love speedrunning videos. I've never speedrun, never planned to speedrun. I think I would hate speedrunning, but it's so cool to see people who are so passionate about this working so hard to achieve something. So thanks so much for watching.